Michigan football just found their ace in the hole. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul, together with my buddy Aaron. We are the Big Ten guys. Tune in every day for the latest news, insights, analysis. If you're a fan of Michigan or Big Ten football, this is the channel for you, so don't miss out. Take just a quick second, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Got a lot more Michigan and Big Ten content coming. You don't want to miss out because I think this is going to be a fun second half of the season for Michigan. I guess we're not halfway there yet, but like some post bye week fun coming for the Maize and Blue. And I think that needs to come from true freshman Andrew Marsh. Obviously, if you're a Michigan fan, you've been watching this year. I think the biggest disappointment thus far has been the passing game. And I do think some of that's on Sharon Moore. They were way too conservative against Oklahoma. But even in some of their other games, it just hasn't been as good as what we were hoping for. And I think post bye week, this is a great time to put together a bigger package for Andrew Marsh. Donovan McCulley, I think he is going to have a big role on the team, but he doesn't get separation quite like you would like. He and Bryce Underwood haven't been on the same page a couple of times, but like I said, he obviously still needs a role on the team, but he's just not a big dynamic separator like you would like. Channing Goodwin has struggled with drops a little bit. Samaj Morgan, I feel like he's just a little limited in what he can do. And I just don't feel like there's a guy, any of those three guys have really shown that they can take the top off the defense in a way that I believe Andrew Marsh can. The guy has touched the ball twice this year on offense. I guess he has two official. Let me pull up the stats here. He has two official touches. I think they've tried to get him the ball a couple more times, but his one catch went for 30 yards, and then they got him the ball once on an end around, and he took it here for 23 yards and a touchdown. He is dynamic with the ball in his hand. That's why they put him on kick returns. I know he had the fumble week 1, but in my mind, outside of Justice Haynes, and I guess honestly probably Bryce Underwood, he's the most dynamic player on this team. And I know Michigan has never really been a school that trusts true freshmen at wide receiver or running back. Obviously, Bryce Underwood himself is a true freshman, but you just look around the country and so many of these guys, a lot of guys who weren't recruited as highly as Andrew Marsh, are making big time plays at freshman. I know he wasn't recruited as highly as a Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams, but he actually was a higher ranked recruit than Nick Marsh from Michigan State, who had a monster freshman season and is going to have another monster sophomore season here. And then I think of Bryant Wesco from Clemson. He had a 700-yard freshman season. He was a lower ranked recruit than Andrew Marsh is. There are freshmen throughout the country getting a bigger opportunity than Marsh is, even though they weren't ranked as highly as him. And I think this passing game needs a spark plug. Because it's just like I said, it's not all on the receivers. I think some of it's the game plan. Some of it, it is a true freshman QB, as good as Bryce Underwood seems to be. But if Michigan wants to be a playoff team this year, they're going to have to throw the ball better. And I think that starts with a player like Andrew Marsh, who can truly take the top off the defense and gain separation at a higher level than what we've been seeing so far. And like I said, Michigan really does have a chance to make the playoffs this year. So looking at ESPN's FPI chances for each game, Wisconsin garbage. Michigan's going to come out of the bye and roll them. But then the next week, you're going to get USC on the road coming off of a bye week. And if you've watched our channel, Aaron and I are high on USC. That is a good football team. But probably their biggest weakness is their secondary. They've really struggled defending the pass. And I know Michigan wants to be able to just ground and pound on everybody, and it's going to work a lot of weeks. But a team like USC, they are going to be best exploited if you can beat them down the field. Their defensive backs are the weakest position group on their team. I'd imagine they're going to come into that game and they're going to blitz and they're going to stack the box and they're going to hope you know what, our corners aren't great, but Michigan's receivers haven't been great either, and Michigan hasn't shown they can throw the ball downfield, and I think that's going to be their game plan in that game, is to stop the run and make Bryce Underwood beat them over the top. And quite frankly, if I were any defensive coordinator right now, that's what I would do, is I would say, you're not running on us. You're not throwing quick screens to Samaj Morgan. You're going to have to beat us over the top. That's what Oklahoma did in Michigan, couldn't do it. And I think Andrew Marsh could be the missing piece of the puzzle to be able to do that. That combined with just Bryce Underwood getting more comfortable and Sharon Moore playing with a little more confidence in his young quarterback. But regardless, they give Michigan only a 30% chance to win that game. But after that, they got them 75% chance almost against Washington. Michigan State, they give them an 85% chance. 94-92 against Purdue and Northwestern. Those should be their two easiest games of the year. Maryland has honestly been kind of impressive, but that still should be an easy win. And then 42% chance to beat Ohio State. And they've done it 4 years in a row, so I think you got to believe they can do it again. And Lord knows they didn't have any sort of passing game last season, and they still managed to get a win in the shoe against a better Ohio State team than they'll face this year. So obviously Michigan has shown they can win with only a running game, but the fact of the matter is they've already lost this year once because they didn't have that downfield passing game. And I don't know, I think Oklahoma is a very good team, but USC and Ohio State, and who knows, maybe Washington and Maryland have been pretty impressive so far too. You're going to need to win some of these games with a passing game, and I think Andrew Marsh is the key to doing that. They need to find, this bye week should be the perfect week to put together a bigger route tree for him, get him more comfortable catching passes from Bryce Underwood. And, I know some of these, especially when you're running as much as Michigan does, you need to have your receivers be good blockers, and from what I've heard, I don't know that he's quite as great there as some of these other guys. But still, you got to be able to have a package of plays for him, because I think he, outside of Justice Haynes and Bryce Underwood, is the most dynamic player on this Michigan offense. So, Sharon Moore, I plead with you, find a way to get the man the ball more. And I think good things will happen for the Maize and Blue, and the playoffs are absolutely still alive. So, Michigan fans, give me your predictions for the year. Who do you think is going to have a big second half or post-bye week end of season? You think Andrew Marsh is going to get more involved? I think we all know Justice Haynes is going to be a monster the rest of the way. Hopefully Bryce Underwood continues to improve. He just is so crazy talented. But give me record predictions, give me player predictions, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.